Welcome to Year in Review, the show where we break down a year to bring you some of the most notable moments in TV and film, month by month. While trying to figure out what the best year in film and TV was, it's bound to start a heated debate, but one thing is certain, 1999 can hang with the best of them. It was the year of original concepts, genre-defining screenplays, and yes, even some box office flops turned into cult classics. So from The Matrix to Fight Club to The Sixth Sense, let's take it back to the year before Y2K.
Forget Hollywood screenplays. Forget those distractions. Huh? What do you think I have in that office? We got work to do. New avenues. Everything's gonna be all right from here on in. Come on. Look, it's a beautiful day.
When The Sopranos first debuted on January 10th, 1999, it was unlike anything anyone was watching at the time. For reference, shows like Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends, and ER were at the top of the charts. But more importantly, this show about an Italian-American mobster from New Jersey helped turn HBO into a premier destination for great original programming and change the way we consume TV forever. Over the course of its 6-season run, The Sopranos proved to be a prime example of must-see television.
Relocate you and your family. You'll be completely safe, all of you.
Hey, don't talk to my wife.
So he wouldn't have to go to jail either.
Carmela, ask this if I'm even indicted.
This assassination problem is not going to go away. I think both of you realize that.
I told you to stop talking to my wife. Carmela, why don't you wait outside?
Kiss my ass, Tony.
We're the only option you have left, Tony. It's not safe for you anymore in the streets or in jail.
This conversation is over.
What do you mean it's not safe? What do you know?
He doesn't know anything. It was a carjacking. Now get out of here. You're upsetting my wife.
Created by David Chase, this sprawling saga of a New Jersey crime family was a perfectly balanced mix of drama, gangster thrills, and dark comedy, all anchored by career-defining performances by Eddie Falco and the late James Gandolfini. Critics say The Sopranos smartly runs an emotional gamut, offering detailed character work and riveting suspense while displaying a flair for both comedy and drama. Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane's pop culture phenomenon Family Guy debuted post-Super Bowl 33 on January 31st, 1999. After going through 2 cancellations, the Griffin clan went from cult status to global sensation.
Giggity, 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 ooh, ooh, ah, ah.
Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah, I have the memo right here. I just forgot, but it's not shipping out till tomorrow, so there's no problem.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Written and directed by Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill creator Mike Judge, Office Space changed the way we view office culture and adulthood forever. The film follows the monotonous routine of Peter Gibbons, his quirky friends, his soul-crushing cubicle job, and eccentric coworkers at a fictional software company called Initech.
Not again. Why does it say pepper jam when there is no pepper jam? I swear to God, one of these days, I just kick this piece of shit out the window.
You and me both, man. Thing is lucky I'm not armed.
Piece of shit.
But it wasn't exactly a hit at the box office, despite its lovable cast comprised of Ron Livingston, Jennifer Aniston, and David Herman. In fact, the film only made a measly $10.8 million during its theatrical run.
Mel, we're going to need to go ahead and move you downstairs into storage B.
No,
we
I was told I could
have some
not.
new people coming in,
No.
and we need all the space we can get.
But there's no space.
So if you could just go ahead and
If-
pack up your
if-
stuff
it-
and move it down there,
But no,
that would be terrific.
I was told
Okay.
I could stay. Excuse me. I believe you have my stapler.
But thanks to Comedy Central, Blockbuster rentals, and DVD sales, the film quickly gathered steam and became a cult classic that continues to speak to the hearts of disgruntled 9-to-5ers all over the globe.
I hate this job. I hate this job and I don't need it.
The film is certified fresh with an 80% on the Tomatometer and an audience score of 93%. Critics say Mike Judge lampoons the office grind with an inspired mix of sharp dialogue and witty one-liners. 10 Things I Hate About You and The Matrix. Not that they hate about The Matrix, never mind.
Do you want to know what
it is.
March 31st, 1999 was a game-changing weekend at the box office. First, Disney's teen comedy 10 Things I Hate About You hit theaters. The film was a modern take on Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew and told the story of two sisters in Seattle, Kate and Bianca, whose overbearing doctor father forbid them from dating in the fear that they'd come home knocked up. And to this day, it's still one of the most beloved and quotable teen rom-coms ever released. The film also brought in an impressive $21 million in its first 5 days. Audiences and critics seem to agree on this one, giving an audience and Tomatometer score of 69%. Critics say Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger add strong performances to an unexpectedly clever script, elevating 10 Things slightly above typical teen fare. And now for the other film released on the same day that has often been regarded for changing Hollywood forever, The Matrix.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
The future of movies basically began with this action blockbuster that was as electric and invigorating as it was visionary.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream?
In addition to being incredibly progressive for its time, it's often credited for pioneering bullet time, a visual effect where time and space are warped to show parts of a shot that would otherwise be invisible to the naked eye. And while you may not think much now of seeing bullets appearing to have stopped in thin air, it's made an undeniable impact on the film and gaming industry. Writer and directors Lily and Lana Wachowski ushered in a new era of visual effects filmmaking with their sci-fi epic and launched a lucrative new franchise for Warner Brothers. Critics say, thanks to the Wachowskis' imaginative vision, The Matrix is a smartly crafted combination of spectacular action and groundbreaking special effects. Decades later, 10 Things I Hate About You and The Matrix still have passionate followings.
Hold it. Where are you going?
To high school, because I'm a high school student.
Drew Barrymore stars as Josie Geller, a 25-year-old copy editor whose first real reporting assignment is to go back to school to learn about kids these days.
I knew it. You are a loser. You ruined everything. You so do not deserve to be prom queen.
Never Been Kissed was also the first film Barrymore launched as a producer with her Flower Films company.
Is the seat taken?
Thank you. Thank you.
Whoa.
Are you scared?
Critics say, unoriginal and unremarkable high school satire. Adds little to the genre.
I think this may be the Book of the Dead.
The Book of the Dead? Are you sure you want to be playing around with this thing?
It's just a book. No harm ever came from reading a book.
The Brendan Fraser-led action-adventure film is a remake of the 1932 Universal monster film of the same name, starring the classic monster man Boris Karloff. And although critics gave it mixed reviews upon its theatrical release, Stephen Sommers' The Mummy is looked back on today with fondness. The film spawned 2 sequels and a spin-off franchise in The Scorpion King. May also saw the return of Star Wars with Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace, which was easily the biggest cinematic event of the year. George Lucas's Return to the Skywalker Saga was the highest-grossing film of the year, bringing in a whopping $1 billion worldwide, which at the time was the 3rd highest-grossing movie ever released. But with its reputation as a franchise low point, it's no wonder it's rotten at a 52% on the Tomatometer. Critics say, burdened by exposition and populated with stock characters, The Phantom Menace gets the Star Wars prequels off to a bumpy, albeit visually dazzling, start.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. Here, let me...
Get your hands off!
I'm really sorry. I live just over the street. I have, water and soap. You can get cleaned up.
Oh, thank you. I just need to get my car back.
I also have a phone. I'm confident that in 5 minutes we can have you spick and span and back on the street again. In the non-prostitute sense, obviously.
When it comes to classic romance films from 1999, nothing comes close to the on-screen chemistry between Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts in Notting Hill. Written by Richard Curtis of 4 Weddings and a Funeral fame, Notting Hill was a simple love story about a Hollywood star named Anna Scott who falls in love with a small bookstore owner, William Thacker. The film was a box office success, making $364 million worldwide. And this iconic line delivered by Julia Roberts has gone down in pop culture history as one of the most romantic lines in film history.
And don't forget, I'm also just a girl. Standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
Critics say, a rom-com with the right ingredients, Notting Hill proves there's nothing like a love story well told, especially when Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts are your leads.
Man, I don't need any consistency in the questions, do I? No, you're preaching to the converted. Well, if I'm preaching to the converted, then why are you being so slavish to the 3-question form is my question. You're not even looking at me, man. Now you're just being rude, you know what I mean? You're not listening, man.
Oh, behave. Funny man Mike Myers was back at it again with his plans of world domination. The film centers around Dr. Evil's newly built time machine where he travels back to 1969 to steal Austin's mojo. A shagless Austin Powers must now go back in time to reclaim his jewels alongside vixen Felicity Shagwell. The usual suspects, Robert Wagner, Seth Green, and Elizabeth Hurley, return for part 2 with some fresh faces, Heather Graham, Rob Lowe, and the late Vern Troyer as the iconic Mini-Me.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! I'm bigger than you, I'm higher in the food chain! Get in my belly! Come on!
Critics say provides lots of laughs with Myers at the helm, as funny or funnier than the original.
And one time at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was so much fun. And this one time, we all lost our music, and we were supposed to play this song, but we didn't know it. So we just made it up, and we kept playing and playing, and the conductor didn't know what we were doing, and it was so funny.
When Universal released American Pie on July 9th, it quickly became one of the defining R-rated teen comedies of the 1990s. Its breakout cast included the likes of Jason Biggs, Tara Reid, Seann William Scott, Allison Hannigan, Chris Klein, and Eugene Levy. Known for its crude humor and that infamous pie scene, it went on to launch a successful new franchise that includes 3 theatrical sequels and 4 straight-to-video sequels.
You guys are pathetic. I'm gonna find myself a little hottie. Suck me, beautiful!
Critics say, so embarrassing it's believable, American Pie succeeds in bringing back the teen movie genre.
I am so sorry for everything that has happened.
On July 14th, 3 film students went into the woods to make a documentary about a terrifying local legend, only to vanish. And the shaky found footage made for a massive blockbuster that brought the found footage horror genre into the mainstream. The Blair Witch Project was arguably one of the buzziest films of the year between its January debut at Sundance, July theatrical release, and the internet running wild with the viral "is it real or is it fake" conspiracy theories.
This is not the way to get out of here.
However, one of the most impressive stats about this film is the profit it made. Principal photography cost a mere $35,000, but it went on to gross about $248.6 million at the box office, an indie film record at the time. And it's still considered to be one of the best movie investments in history.
I don't have it. We have to go. I'm serious, I don't have it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, I don't have the map, okay?
But we can't talk about its success without mentioning the way it reinvented film marketing. The film marketers used a website to lay the groundwork for this true story. They kept adding new information, including everything from pictures and footage to journal entries and interviews with fake family members to keep people coming back and spreading the word. Critics say, full of creepy campfire scares, Mock Doc The Blair Witch Project keeps audiences in the dark about its titular villain, proving once more that imagination can be as scary as anything on screen.
I see dead people.
The second biggest box office hit to come out of 1999 was M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense. The Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment supernatural thriller gave cinema one of its most classic twist endings. The movie became the rare genre film to break through at the Oscars, earning 6 Oscar nominations including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress for Toni Collette, and Best Supporting Actor for a then 10-year-old Osment. Critics say M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense is a twisty ghost story with all the style of a classic Hollywood picture, but all the chills of a modern horror flick.
You want to see the most beautiful thing I've ever filmed?
Sam Mendes' American Beauty was the critical darling of 1999, sweeping the Oscars with 5 wins including Best Picture and Best Director for Mendes. Critics say, flawlessly cast and brimming with dark, acid wit, American Beauty is a smart, provocative high point of late 90s mainstream Hollywood films.
It's kind of like a bad French film noir, isn't it? All these cops around in a circle, some silent,
Some leaning in with cynical quips.
The first season of the police drama series Law & Order Special Victims Unit premiered on NBC on September 20th, 1999. The show is a spin-off to the ever-popular police procedural and legal drama Law & Order. The series, which has spanned 21 seasons and has been renewed through its 24th, is one of the longest-running primetime series of all time. The show was also incredibly progressive for its time and has been credited for changing the way sexual violence is portrayed on screen.
A man raped 3 women. He broke into their apartments while they slept, and he forced himself on them. I'm just trying to bring him to justice, so excuse me.
Detective Olivia Benson, played by Mariska Hargitay, has become a pop culture icon for her fight in serving justice to the special victims she works with, who are generally female survivors of sexual assault. Critics say Special Victims Unit often blurs the line between socially conscious and exploitative, but Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney's terse chemistry adds a dimension of personality to the absorbing Law & Order formula.
The hardest job in the White House is president. The second hardest job is not chief of staff, it's not national security advisor, and it's not press secretary, although I'm gaining a certain amount of respect for press secretaries.
Aaron Sorkin's political drama The West Wing premiered on NBC on September 22nd. The show depicted the inner workings of the administration of fictional U.S. President Josiah Jed Bartlett, a Democrat from New Hampshire, who was played by Martin Sheen. The Emmy Award-winning TV series ran for 7 seasons and won 26 Emmy Awards.
Talk about impressive.
Critics say The West Wing is a gripping fantasy of lawmakers and government operatives looking to make a difference, presenting an idealized vision of politicking that audiences can strive toward.
This is crazy. You want me to hit you?
That's right.
What, like in the face?
Surprise me.
This is so stupid. Mother! You hit me in the ear! Well, Jesus, I'm sorry. Ow!
But it was October '99 when we learned the first rule of Fight Club.
The first rule of Fight Club is
You do not talk about Fight Club.
But apparently no one cared to follow it because David Fincher's Fight Club was one of the most talked about films of the year, despite the fact that it fell short at the box office. The edgy psychological thriller was a box office bomb, opening with only $11 million and tapping out at $37 million at the US box office. Despite those numbers, the film has gained cult status and is known as one of the most iconic films for both David Fincher and Brad Pitt.
Stay with the pain, don't shut this out.
No, God!
Look at your hand. The first soap was made from the ashes of heroes, like the first monkey shot into space. Without pain, without sacrifice, we would have nothing.
Critics say solid acting, amazing direction, and elaborate production design make Fight Club a wild ride. To infinity and beyond. Well, not exactly to infinity, but Toy Story 2 did climb to the number 4 spot for highest grossing films in 1999. In the franchise's second feature, our dynamic duo Buzz and Woody are back in action. This time, Buzz and his motley crew set out on a rescue mission to bring back Woody when a toy collector steals him and plans to sell him to a museum. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen reprised their roles as Woody and Buzz and dazzled Toy Story fans with witty banter and heartfelt friendship. With a 100% fresh score on the Tomatometer, it's safe to say that this is one of those sequels that's just as good as the original. Critics say the rare sequel that arguably improves on its predecessor, Toy Story 2 uses inventive storytelling, gorgeous animation, and a talented cast to deliver another rich movie-going experience for all ages. Paul Thomas Anderson followed up the breakthrough success of Boogie Nights with a far more ambitious directorial effort in Magnolia. The psychological drama had a phenomenal ensemble cast that included the likes of Julianne Moore, Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly, and Tom Cruise. The film, which was just over 3 hours, was an epic mosaic of interrelated characters in search of love, forgiveness, and meaning in the San Fernando Valley. Magnolia found critical acclaim and landed Anderson his second Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. Critics say Magnolia is an ambitious, lengthy work that ultimately succeeds due to interesting stories and excellent ensemble performances. By no means are these the only unforgettable films, franchises, and shows that came out of 1999. Some other films we can't forget to mention include Eyes Wide Shut, Cruel Intentions, and The Talented Mr. Ripley. Plus several other noteworthy shows like Freaks and Geeks premiered in this banner year for entertainment. So from The Sopranos to Star Wars and the Blair Witch Project, it's no wonder that 1999 is often credited for being one of the greatest years in cinema history.